It's a bit chilly, so let's make this vlog extra comfy. What I want to talk about today is post-video depression. Basically, you hit that upload button after all those hours, after all that time in Sony Vegas and Audacity and what have you. You hit that upload button, you get a 5-second rush of euphoria, and then it hits you. Post-video depression. You fall like a rock. It feels like everything is over and done and meaningless and worthless, and you just want to die. In my tragedy class that I have to take in college for my humanities, we've been talking about analyzing works through the lens of different philosophers. We were looking at Aristotle and Nietzsche. But we briefly took a look at some of the work of Schopenhauer because of him being a contemporary of Nietzsche and having some influence on that. But Schopenhauer is a bit more negative guy, but I think it's suitable for this slightly negative segment of this vlog, which hopefully won't end quite so negatively. But essentially his sort of theory that he postulated was this idea that life is just endless striving. We feel this need driven by just instinctual human nature and boredom to strive for something, to strive for some goal. However, ultimately, striving just leads to suffering when we're working in pursuit of something that ends up with us being put in positions where we either lose something or we suffer, or we're pushing ourselves to the point where it's unpleasant. And when we finally attain that goal, it gives a brief moment of happiness, but that doesn't last, and before we know it, we have to strive to the next thing. And so that's kind of his theory, sort of his view of the human existence, is it's just this endless circle of suffering, of striving with very little moments of pleasure and enjoyment, because we're constantly driven by this need to strive for something, which is pretty reasonable. And when I'm in a better mood, it doesn't seem quite so negative. It seems like, yeah, it's cool that we can constantly be working towards something. We can constantly have goals. We can constantly be striving and searching and going further, because life would be pretty boring if we just sat around all day and just like we're in an eternal state of euphoria without doing anything at all. No, it's that striving for doing things and accomplishing things that makes life cool and fun. But then when it's something like this happens, and you finish what you were initially striving, and you're after the euphoria, but you haven't started striving for some new thing, this is the post-upload depression. And I feel like it's especially clear with YouTubing, because right, I play an instrument. Right? My major is music. When you practice, there's not really a clear end goal. Like, you can never be perfect at your instrument. You can always be better. You're always working towards, just improving incrementally. So every day is a new striving. Every single day you're working, and as a result, there's, I think, fewer moments of this sort of euphoric experience, because you're not getting that reaffirmation, because you just constantly have to approach it with a very self-critical mindset, and constantly am just working and working and working, and the only bits of euphoria, I guess, would come from giving performances. But that's a very small part of what actually is the majority of your time spent at the instrument, which is practicing. Compare this to YouTube, where, especially if you're a creator who's working on a more regular schedule, like I currently am, when you post a video, you get that rush like every single week. You get that boost, that, and then you also get that immediate dip, because you're not constantly working towards the goal every single day, but rather it's like every single week it resets, and you have to sort of like pick yourself back up and get right back to it before you let yourself fall too far. But yeah, I always find after I upload a video, I'm just searching for ways to distract myself, even when I have genuine things, other passions and other interests and other things that I should be doing. Heck, I should be practicing my instrument right now. It's it's just this feeling that like the one thing that you were thinking about so much has come to an end, that kind of just destroys you inside a little bit. And you think like, what was it worth all that time? And ultimately, I don't want to be too much of a downer. I think it was. I think it was worth my time. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I've made the videos I've made. I'm glad I have my channel. I enjoy doing YouTube. But there is always this sort of inevitable little dip, and it seems seems out of my control of avoiding it. Yet I'm curious as to some of the ways in which it could be affected, such as working on a longer video, or uh, working in a different type of way, perhaps in a more scheduled or formatted way. But yeah, that's my thoughts on post upload depression. Uh, I don't know if I said anything interesting, but that's how I feel about everything.